Hurricane Gustav was a warning. Nonetheless, major damage has been reported outside of New Orleans. More than 1 million people lose electricity as the storm devastates parts of Cajun country. A still largely deserted New Orleans was spared major damage from Hurricane Gustav, but many other parts of Cajun country didn't fare as well. In low-lying parishes across Louisiana's southeastern and central coast, many homes were destroyed and towns were flooded and swamped. Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal said he has received more reports of widespread damage across 3 parishes close to where the eye of the storm hit. Helicopter crews were expected to search the area for anyone injured or killed using thermal imaging. This area is home to the state's oil and natural gas industries, and rig owners were heading out to inspect their installations for any damage. The approximately 2 million people who left a mandatory evacuation order watched the TV from shelters and hotel rooms hundreds of miles away. Although New Orleans wasn't submerged this time, there were many homes that suffered damage anyway, and more than 1 million people were without power. There were also worries about the fishing industry and the oil industry. It's bad, real bad. They said it's bad, real bad. There are roofs lying all over. It's all gone, said someone in the town of Terrebonne, or Terrebonne. And it could be a day or more before oil and natural gas companies can assess the damage to their drilling and refining installations. The governor said as much as 20% of oil and gas production that was stopped because of Gustav could possibly be restored by this weekend, although stressing that it was a very rough estimate. To the east of the city, state officials were unable to reach anyone at all at a vital energy industry hub where huge amounts of oil and gas are piped inland to refineries at Port Fortune. The Gulf of Mexico accounts for approximately 25% of domestic oil production and 15% of natural gas production. So, any damage to those installations could possibly cause gasoline prices at the pump to spike, although oil prices declined Monday. If that makes any sense at all. It seems to be going like this. But if they raise the price of a gallon of gasoline too high, well, they can't sell enough to stay in business, can they? Because they can't make enough money if people don't buy enough gasoline, no matter what. And if the price goes down too low, well, they can't make enough money to start to stay in business either. Can't hardly buy or sell. Anyway, two houses built up on pilings to avoid flooding were not spared by the wind that tore through Montaigut, a small Terrebonne town south of southern Louisiana. Across a narrow bayou running past the houses, yellow insulation had collected in a tree and a neighbor's chain-link fence. Many roofs were blown off. Yes, they still sustained damage. There was still quite a bit of damage, actually. For some reason, it doesn't seem like the media really reports things in a very timely fashion, or perhaps some of the news is delayed to spare you seeing everything at once. Something on that order. I got scared, said one man, the owner of a grocery store, who said he had stayed home for the storm, but probably not next time. It was very bad when the wind started rolling in, he said. This was a picture to see. Trees snapping off, fences blowing down, and that wind just coming down the driveway over 100 miles per hour. It gets you scared. It's not something to play around with. And I don't think I'm going to stay for another one, he said. For all their seeming similarities, Hurricanes Gustav and Katrina were different in one critical respect. Katrina smashed the Gulf Coast with an epic storm surge that topped 27 feet, a much higher wall of water than Gustav brought ashore. Katrina also was a bigger storm when it made landfall in August 2005, and it made a direct hit on the Mississippi coast. Hurricane Gustav tracked along Louisiana's shoreline at a more gentle angle. God was being nice this time. Still, it's a warning. Hurricane Gustav weakened to a tropical depression early Tuesday morning, with maximum sustained winds near 35 miles per hour, the National Hurricane Center in Miami said. 8. The number is 8. So far, at least. Deaths were attributed to the storm in the U.S. after it killed at least 94 people earlier in Cuba and Haiti. Hurricane Gustav's storm surge tested a levee system still being rebuilt after collapsing during Katrina. A tense time followed into Monday night for any sign of the kind of deluge of 3 years ago, when 80% of the city was flooded and many thousands were stranded. They called it an ugly sister of all storms. The state and city took pride in a massive evacuation effort that succeeded in urging people to leave or catch buses and trains out, if there's any good story to this whole story. I would not do a thing differently, said the mayor of New Orleans. I'd probably call Gustav, instead of the mother of all storms, maybe the mother-in-law, or the ugly sister of all storms. Again, it was a warning. Yes, it could have been much worse. And there are other hurricanes on the way. Hurricane Hanna, and Hurricane Ike. And maybe, well, there'll be more of that. One after another. Rapid fire. Yes, there are more hurricanes on the way coming to America. There's something up with this story. This is not normal. This is not the way it normally works. No, there's nothing normal about this at all, and these are not normal times. These are more signs of the end times, transition days. And there are many, many signs. More hurricanes are on the way.